Welcome back everybody. So this is gonna be a quick weekend update video for you guys on stock market. And before we get started, please hit that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you want to get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, and 3 days of live trading in my Discord, and you want to support the channel, check out the Patreon, and that link will be down below in the description. And now let's get right into it. Dow is up 0.35%, Nasdaq up 1.74%, S&P up 1%, and Russell going down 0.5%. And here's 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500 on top, leading the way. Massive rally led by Meta Communication Services. And then we got consumer cyclical led by Amazon, technology, industrials, financial, consumer defensive, healthcare, energy, basic materials, real estate, utilities. Then we got week to date performance right here on top. Consumer cyclical, consumer defensive, industrials, healthcare, technology. On bottom, lagging behind, energy, real estate, and then communication services was actually lagging behind, and now it's not anymore. You can see it's up 3% in just one day because of Meta. And what we got here on stock market map, and I want to talk about Meta first. And if you look at my screen, up over 20%, and guess what, buyback is back. Beat on earnings, and they're doing buybacks in shares. $50 billion, guys. That is a massive amount, and that is why this thing is up massively today and can go up even more. Google up 0.58%, Amazon consumer cyclical leading the way today, up almost 8%. Nvidia hitting another fresh new all-time high and almost getting close to 700, up 5% on the day. AMD also going up over 4%. Microsoft also going up again today, 1.84%. Apple was down 6%, and now it's only down 0.5%, nothing big. Chevron also beating earnings, going up 3% right here on energy sector. And then we got some of these big banks also going up, like JPM 0.5%, and Bank of America. Actually, they're not doing that good right here. And you can see IWM also, not going up anymore. Since we got that news that going into March there will be no rate cuts. Maybe after March, we could see some rate cuts this year, but it's not happening at the moment. So I just want to quickly show you guys this right here on Fed's watch tool, and you can see going into March, no rate cuts, and then May there is a chance of almost 60%, going into June 55, July 47, and then 46, 45. Now, why would they cut rates right now? Well, recently we can all notice one thing, and that is regional banks are coming down again. So guess what? Maybe something is blowing up inside. We just don't know, and that is something to watch in next couple of weeks here in this market. Now, also here on fear and greed index, I don't know how this thing is actually here at 67. It should be right up here, guys. Extreme greed here in this market. This is not right. I mean, this thing actually was here, went back with 1 day sell-off, and now it's sitting right here, and nobody wants to sell anything here in this market. I said it in my video before that that sell-off we got with Jay Powell, that was a bear trap, and that is what we got, and we saw that rally today, massive. Now also look at right here, sentiment. You got 49.1% are bullish here in this market, and look at this right here, 24.5. I mean, the last time we got this was 26.1. So more and more people are getting bullish here in this market. And look at this also, I mean 26.4. So what's coming, we don't know, but the market is going straight up. We just got to be careful here in this market, because we have seen when things are going straight up, crashes can actually happen from these levels. We could see a blow off top. Anything is possible. Lots of bad catalysts out there, especially what's happening in the Middle East. We got soldiers getting killed, but nobody cares. Market does not care. and everything just going straight up without any correction here in this market. So yes, things are bullish. I'm not saying that things will just crash and go down quickly, but as a retail trader, investor, we got to be careful buying at these levels right now where the market is trading. Now today I want to start with IWM, which is down 0.5%, and usually when we get those runs to the upside on a bull market, in a healthy bull market, the market breadth, IWM, that is me, you, and pretty much every average person that is living here in the States. That is your market breadth. And this thing actually rallies before anything. Do you see a rally here? No, absolutely not. We got Dow Jones going up to a fresh new all-time high, Nasdaq hitting multiple times all-time highs, and now S&P also going up and hitting all-time highs, and this thing is nowhere near all-time highs. So what's happening? Something is broken. We just don't know. Yes, market can ignore all that, and just because of those 6-7 names in the market, Magnificent 7, well, Magnificent 6 right now, because Tesla definitely not participating in that rally. Guess who's participating? Some of these other names like AMD going up massively. I mean, I think AMD at one point was trading above Tesla's price. It was 184 and Tesla was 180. And that is just insane. AMD and Tesla, two different companies, but as a mega cap, Tesla definitely not participating in this rally. So here on IWM, you can see this one here. Yesterday we got this hammer type candle. Today, nothing here on IWM. This thing gapped up over 1%, and every time you see IWM gapping up, this thing gives up all the gains, and where you see triple Q gapping up continues without coming down and closing that gap. So here on IWM, going into next week, we got the close at least over 193 today. But if you look at my screen, 194.44, I would say 195. It needs to get above 195 and then 198 right here. And that is going to be the breakout on IWM to the upside. Now, if this thing actually pushes down again going into next week on Monday, and look at today, I mean, hitting exactly 50-day moving average. 192.22, 192.39 low for the day. Below this support 50-day moving average, you're going to see a drop all the way down to 189, or I would say 190. Lower Bollinger Band sitting close to 190 right here, and then critical support at 188. So IWM needs to break out above 198. If not, this downtrend can continue. I mean, you can see right here, we never actually got up to this high. And this was a lower high, and now we could be making a lower low on IWM unless we get that breakout above 198. With some earnings, this thing can go all the way up to 190 plus. So that is going to actually play out tomorrow night. I mean, Apple, it's going to be make it or break it. And last few earnings from Apple, they were not good. So I'm expecting, at least maybe we get something here on Apple where this thing actually drops and I can really buy it cheap, maybe under 180. That would be great. So I'm not really looking to, have a big beat on earnings on Apple, because whenever you see that, usually you see a massive gap up, and then this thing will just run and run, just like Microsoft. And Microsoft also hitting a fresh new all-time high today. And as a retail trader, investor, I don't want things to go higher because I can't buy it. And a lot of people out there, they try to buy things right here on top, and then what happens, we all know, just holding a bag. You need to buy low and sell high. So, maybe tomorrow night we get a nice juicy dip on Apple. If things can open here, maybe 180 or below, definitely buying that dip on Apple stock. And here's my X account, and if you're on there, definitely give me a follow. And I do not have any subscription that you gotta go through on X. It's totally free. Now, you guys saw that video just before earnings, and what I say in my video, I do it in real life. Right here you can see Apple, and that was Thursday, right after earnings, 5:14 p.m. Apple was trading at 182, 181, and that is where I actually got 100 shares. And this morning it was trading at 187 almost, sold for a nice profit, just holding overnight. And not only that, I did play Apple calls this morning, and there were only $10 a piece, 180 calls. And guess what? They ran up to $6 a piece. Well, I never got, $6 a piece, but actually ran up to $4 a piece. So almost 300% on those calls here on Apple. And look at this one here, Airbnb, that we got in the morning, 9:36 a.m. and you can match with the time. It was trading at 142 and 141, right in between. And that is where I got those calls. 145 exploded, guys. I mean, this thing got up to 148. These calls, they went through the roof, especially same day expiration. You can see it right here. So all these trade ideas are available on Patreon, and especially if you want to support the channel, check it out, and that link will be down below in the description. On SPY ETF, it's up 1%, and just like I said, IWM gaps up, gives up all the gain, and then usually gives up some more and goes red for the day. Just like today, it was up over 1%, and then what happened? Gave up all the gains and now down 0.5% for the day. But look at here, in this case, we gapped up, came down to 489.30, but the gap down here, 489.23, still open. This thing rallied back up to a fresh new all-time high, 496. And I think what's happening, this thing will definitely hit 500 unless we get a pullback down to this gap, which is just under 490. And if that gives up, then you're going to see a drop down to this support down here, 485. We also have this gap from almost 2 weeks ago or 3, 480 to 72. So this move continues. The next stop, 500. Now, also I said it before in my video that watch out, as long as this thing can hold 5-day moving average and can stay above 490, you're going to see a move up to 495. And we got above and beyond today, getting up to 496.05 and then pulling back from there. It was getting a little bit outside the Bollinger Band here on top, so we got that pullback, but now it's trading at 494.35. So going into Monday's session, above 495 opens the door for 500. Below 495, we might be coming back down to this gap just under 490, and then we have strong support at 485. So Dow Jones Diamond also hitting a fresh new all-time high, up 0.34%, and you can see it's getting far too overextended. We got a slight pullback just before closing, just $1, nothing big, and now trading above 384. So going into Monday morning, 384, that's gonna be your line in the sand right here on DIA as a support. And if this thing can continue above 384, can push up to 392, and that's gonna be the next stop, and that is gonna be another fresh new all-time high. Below 384, watch out right down here. You can see around 381. That's gonna be a support, and below that we also have strong support right here, 20-day moving average, 378.80. And then if you look at my screen, there was a rejection right here multiple times, 378. So that is going to be a strong level below 381 and then 376. One more thing I want to point out. Until you see a big bearish engulfing candle like this one, do not short the market. Wait for a continuation to the downside. Trend has to change. Because what happened on Wednesday, and I have seen it all over on X, a lot of people lost money. They bought puts. They thought, we got the top with this candle. That is it. Jay Powell crushing the market again. Market will pull back even more. Guess what? Next morning, gap up. And even a bigger gap up this morning. So do not just go blindly and short everything. Wait for a reversal candle, and then you can short the market if you want to. On triple Q, it's up 1.69%. Another massive rally and another gap up, and going all the way up to a fresh new all-time high over 430. Now going into Monday morning, if there is actually any sort of pullback, you need to watch right here 428, and below that you could see a drop down to 425, and then maybe this gap will get closed at some point 420 to 38. Now do not get trapped thinking about a big sell-off here in this market. And why? Because you need to see a shift here in this market, a reversal like this one here. Went straight up and then went down. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And what we got here, guys? Going straight up. So going into Monday morning on a pullback, 428, 425, this gap down here, 420 to 38 as a support. To the upside, if this thing pushes and can hold above 425, rising 5-day moving average, can continue this move all the way up to 432 to 435, right here where this upper Bollinger Band is sitting. On 10-year, it's up 4.40%, and yes, you can call it a dead cat bounce, but you cannot ignore the fact that we got a big bullish engulfing candle just like we got right here. So does that mean that we're going to see continuation to the upside? Possible. And also, I said it before, something is not lining up. This thing was going up, market was going up. Guess what? This thing was lying. This thing crashed all the way down to 38.80. When under that level, came back up, and market just rallied even higher. And now the same thing happening today. This thing going up also over 4%. The market hitting fresh new all-time highs. So who's lying? We will find out very soon. If this thing actually pushes and can break 41, then watch out. That might be a breakout for a move up to 42.24, and possibly at some point can come up to 43.70 right here. To the downside, you need to watch 5-day moving average, and I think it's sitting exactly close to 40.03. That is where 5-day moving average sitting. So that is going to be the support to watch on a pullback on TNX, and then watch out for 38.80. So this is actually getting really crazy here in this market. When was the last time you saw multiple days dollar going up? And look at this big bullish engulfing candle today. Exploded up 0.89%, and what the market did, and especially S&P 500, going up and hitting a fresh new all-time high. So there's got to be something, guys. Something is not lining up, and someone is lying here. That could be the dollar, TNX lying together, and the market can actually push even higher, and these two can actually dump. Or this is actually the real deal right here. Dollar going up, 10-year going up, and then at some point we could see a big sell-off here in this market. And that is why I said that as a retail trader, investor, you don't want to go long here in this market until you see at least a 10-15% correction. All you can do, just play the trend, day trade, make your money, and get out, because there is no big opportunities in this market right now. Mega caps are going higher and higher every day. You cannot buy them. Now if you're buying small caps, well, you can, but are they actually moving? Absolutely not. You're just gonna make pennies out of those. So it's better to wait for a nice big pullback. At some point it's going to happen. Market never goes straight up. Machines are going to sell at some point. You're going to see smart money, big money selling out of their position and locking in profit. And that is when you're going to see a shift here in this market, and everything reversing and coming down, and we get a nice 15 20%, maybe 10%, something in between. We get a pullback, and that is going to be that dip we all want here in this market. So watch out here on dollar. Now that this thing finally broke out above 103.58, this thing can push all the way up to 103.48. On a pullback now, this is going to be strong support 103.58, and below that 103, 102.61. On VIX, we got a flat day, and this thing, if you look at my screen, into closing holding 1380 5-day moving average as a support into closing. So that means one thing: if this thing can hold 1380 5-day moving average, we could see a move back up to 15. And at some point, you're going to see a breakout above 15, and we need that for a pullback here in this market. And so far, it's not getting above 15. Once we get that breakout above 15, this thing should easily come up to 18 bucks, and that should bring everything down in the market. Now to the downside, 1380, that's going to be key level, and then 13 bucks, and below that, watch out for 12.14 lower Bollinger Band as a support on VIX. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated going into Monday.